In this video, we're talking again about los verbos reflexivos. Remember, reflexive verbs are verbs where the action is reflected back onto the person doing the action. Some examples. Yo me cepillo los dientes. ¿Te levantas temprano? In the first sentence, the verb is in the yo form. I know because, of course, the verb cepillo ends in o. Now, yo cepillo los dientes means I brush the teeth. The sentence doesn't say whose teeth, but that's where the me comes in. Me means myself. So yo me cepillo los dientes means I brush myself the teeth, or we might say in English, I brush my teeth. Now with te levantas temprano, this is a to form. Again, the to isn't necessary because the verb in Spanish tells the story, right? So the to form ends in as. So if the verb ends in as, we know it's the to form. Te levantas temprano. Tu levantas, or levantas means you lift. Te levantas, you lift yourself. Temprano, early. So we have, do you lift yourself early? Te levantas temprano. We might say it, do you get up early? Okay. Now, there's a list of these common reflexives for the daily routine. Despertarse, levantarse, lavarse, cepillarse, secarse, vestirse, bañarse, acostarse, dormirse. So if you remember how to do stem-changing verbs, they change in the yo, tú, él, ella, usted, and ellos, ellas, and ustedes forms. Okay, this is kind of a shoe shape, which is why some teachers call these shoe verbs. Okay? Now, let's try despertarse, to wake up. If you look at despertarse and notice it's an E to IE change, but wait, hay dos es. There are two E's. The way this rule works is we're going to change the E closest to the end, but not included in the AR, ER, or IR. Okay? So, if you look in the E closer to the end, it is the second one, despertarse. So, we're going to change the second E. So let's change despertarse to wake oneself up. And first of all, remember, ignore the se when doing this, so we don't overly confuse ourselves. Yo despierto. Tú despiertas. Él despierta. Ella despierta. Usted despierta. Nosotros despertamos. Ellos despiertan. Ellas despiertan. Ustedes despiertan. Okay? So if you notice, despertarse is your verb, despertar. Nosotros stays like that. There's no E to IE. But in the rest of these, it kind of makes a shoe, a crude looking shoe, but a shoe nonetheless. Okay, and that's how you remember which ones change. So if we add the se, change the se in the front of these, we have yo me despierto, I wake myself up. Tú te despiertas, you wake yourself up. Él se despierta, ella se despierta, usted se despierta. He wakes himself up, she wakes herself up, you wake yourself up. Nosotros nos despertamos, we wake ourselves up. Ellos se despiertan, ellas se despiertan, ustedes se despiertan. They wake themselves up, or you all wake yourselves up. Let's change vestirse. This is an E to I. There's only one E, so it'll be pretty easy to figure out which one it is. This means to dress oneself. Ignore the se. Now we have yo visto, tú vistes, él viste, ella viste, usted viste, nosotros vestimos, ellos visten, ellas visten, ustedes visten. Again, notice the shoe. The E to I only changes in the yo, tú, él, usted, and the ellos, ellas, ustedes forms. Let's add the reflexive pronoun. We have yo me visto, I dress myself. Tú te vistes, you dress yourself. Él se viste, he dresses himself. Ella se viste, she dresses herself. Usted se viste, you dress yourself. Nosotros nos vestimos, we dress ourselves. Ellos se visten, they dress themselves. Ellas se visten, they, the girls, dress themselves. Ustedes se visten, you all dress yourselves. Okay, how about acostarse? This is O to UE. Okay, and it means to go to bed. Yo acuesto, tú acuestas, él acuesta, ella acuesta, usted acuesta, nosotros acostamos, ellos acuestan, ellas acuestan, ustedes acuestan. Notice the shoe. Okay. Now add the reflexive pronouns. Yo me acuesto, tú te acuestas, él se acuesta, ella se acuesta, usted se acuesta, nosotros nos acostamos, ellos se acuestan, ellas se acuestan, ustedes se acuestan. Okay, one more. To fall asleep, dormirse. I know that dormir is just to sleep, but dormirse is to fall asleep. It means a little bit different thing, but it's still reflexive and useful. So to fall asleep, it's O-D-U-E. Yo duermo, tú duermes, él duerme, ella duerme, usted duerme, nosotros dormimos, ellos duermen, ellas duermen, ustedes duermen. Add the reflexives. Me duermo, te duermes, se duerme, nos dormimos, se duermen. Let's try some examples now. ¿A qué hora te despiertas? ¿A qué hora te despiertas? Yo me despierto a las 6:30 de la mañana. Okay. ¿A qué hora te acuestas? ¿A qué hora te acuestas? Yo me acuesto a las 11:30 de la noche. ¿Te duermes rápido? ¿Te duermes rápido? Sí, yo me duermo rápido. No, no me duermo rápido. Okay. Okay, now it's your turn. You go ahead and try to translate some of these into Spanish. And remember, pause the video if you need to for a little bit extra time. They wake up. Ellos se despiertan. We fall asleep. Nosotros nos acostamos. Notice there's no stem change. Again, that's because this is a nosotros form, where there's no stem change needed. Okay? No O-T-U-E, that is. Inés and Alicia dress themselves, or get dressed. Inés y Alicia se visten. Pablo goes to bed at midnight. Pablo se acuesta a las 12 de la noche. Or, Pablo se acuesta a la medianoche. Either one of those makes sense. It's midnight. Do you wake up at 5:30 in the morning? ¿Te despiertas a las 5:30 de la mañana? Okay. Hopefully this was helpful. Stay tuned for the next video on reflexives that will go over using them with 2 or more verbs and a sentence. Adios.